Okay. Hello. Is it working? Hello. Yes. Perfect. Let me just put the other mic. All right. So, just to put a face on each of the persons in the panel, I will ask you to introduce yourselves in 30 seconds.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Paula Costa. I'm leading the visa office in Portugal for the last 3.5 years. I'm very happy to be here today. For those that don't know, Visa is celebrating 50 years in Portugal. And we thought this was actually a very... Okay, so I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah,
okay. So,
My fault. You have to turn on.
Okay, so rewind. Okay, Paula Costa, I'm leading the visa office in Lisbon for the last 3.5 years. I'm very, very happy to be here today. Visa is very happy to be partnering with Fintech House. For those that don't know, we are celebrating 50 years in Portugal. And actually, in a way, we are the Fintech one of the first Fintechs in the world, started 6 years ago. So, very happy to be here.
Good afternoon. My name is Fintech Marques. I work at Morais Leitão, where I head the firm's banking and finance practice, which obviously includes the fintech sector, and not only within Morais Leitão, and Simão mentioned it in his presentation. Very importantly, to fintechs and startups generally, we have what we call Team Genesis. That is a purpose-built team with elements from different departments within the firm, including mine. That is exactly looking towards the startup sector, and exactly to assist those players that are looking to start, apologies for the redundancy, to start and to grow within that sector. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luís Castro Almeida. I'm the CEO of BBVA. First of all, congratulations to Marco and Simão and the team of the Fintech House for this initiative. It was a challenge for us, very easy to accept. I would love to have all these kind of challenges on my daily work. Unfortunately, I don't. So this one was very fast. The contestation and the acceptation of this contest, your invitation was really easy, and I will elaborate later on.
Save something for the debate. Let's go.
And congratulations, and thank you for inviting us. Really.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Luís Pedro Duarte. I lead the financial services practice in Accenture here for Portugal. I also like to share, I think, the happiness of our good friends from Portugal, Fintech, João, Simão, Marta, Marco, at least the four of you. We've been together, we're getting almost 2 years back, so I think this is kind of a dream came true. And we also like to share that happiness, and we'll comment some other things on the next round.
Well, hello, good afternoon. My name is João Machado. I'm the head of the Center for Transformation in Fidelidade. It's well, I can't say it's a new area. It's not a new area anymore. It's still a young area, responsible for innovation and transformation. So we're scouting new ideas in the market. When I say market, is with capital M, not necessarily insurance. I'm still trying to understand even different coverages between policies, or what is a policy. And for transformation, which is the area responsible for driving and developing those ideas into results and into actions. And for us who have this responsibility of innovation and transformation, being part of this initiative, it's absolutely amazing. It's a privilege, so thank you to all the team for the invitation. And it makes us also very proud, because basically it's something that it's an additional pinpoint with Portugal on the map, which we hopefully see this as an international hub to go. So
That's the ambition. Very well, so let's thank you, João, and thank all of you. Now we've put in the face in each of the participants on the panel, and the objective is trying to narrow down how they are supporting startups and how they are supporting fintechs, insurtechs, and not just that, like all the financial community, banks, insurance. So I'll start with Paula. Maybe João, can we have the mic? And Paula, I just came from Paris Fintech Forum, and everybody's speaking about Visa there, of course, because of the M&A of Plate. So Visa acquired Plate, 5.3 billion euros, the biggest private acquisition of fintech. And basically, we are expecting that you guys acquire some of these fintechs for that price. No, I think besides that, Visa has a strong history of supporting fintechs, not just acquiring. That's, I would say, it's the tip of the iceberg. So my question and starting question for Paulo is, what's Visa's approach for supporting the fintech community, nationally here in Portugal, but also internationally? And I think the API is playing a super important role. So what can you tell us about Visa and innovation?
Yeah, so starting from the last question, absolutely, API is supporting the innovation of Visa. So we have more or less a three-pillar approach to fintech. So the first one I would say is a more local, more close to the fintech community, technical and knowledge support. So it's being there on a more kind of close way to support them, guide them through what Visa is doing, what the trends are, what is the set of APIs available to them they can use. So that's more about proximity and being close. That's leveraging our local teams, the regional teams to do that. The second one I would say is more a business type of approach, and this is very much focused on three angles, let's put it this way. One is venturing and investing, so it's basically through financial participation and companies that can actually bring, like the example that you've given is a very good example, that bring value to the ecosystem. So we looked for companies that can actually increase the value of our Visa platform, and they can actually help clients and partners leverage precisely those assets and those solutions. So that's one of the angles. The other angle I would say is also through what we call our marketplace, so FinTech Partner Marketplace. So Visa is creating this marketplace where through that we can give you exposition to your offer solutions, your propositions, and actually filling some of our own gaps, because as the ecosystem kind of expands, we can't think that we can solve everything and we have the solution for all the consumer needs and the market needs. So we need to create this marketplace where all of these companies can come together, be part of this fintech partner network, and through that actually expose to global reach and to global partners and global clients. So that's, I would say, another angle. The third angle is also through direct commercial incentives that we can have to accelerate the growth of the business. So it's not through the investment itself from the company. There's actually, if there is a company who wants to launch a new business and they want to accelerate, and they have some struggle in terms of cash flows, there's some pressure on the treasury side, we can alleviate some of the conditions for them to go faster into the market. So I'll say those are the two pillars. The third one is going through the API platform, absolutely. So what Visa has done in 2016 was open their platform. So we were a closed-loop kind of proprietary platform until more or less 2016, and we radically changed our approach. We needed to go open, we needed to open the platform, and we started creating this set of powerful APIs. And they are structured in different ways in different sectors, from identity and security, data analytics, payments, B2B. So they are actually structured, they're growing every single day. And the value of this is it allows the fintechs actually to focus on their core capabilities. And then by bringing this set of APIs on top, they can elevate their solutions and their offering to the market, let's put it this way. So I'll say those are the three main pillars.
I mean, startups here, they have a huge technical background, they love APIs because they can prototype and test much faster. So thanks a lot for having the API here.
If you think about TransferWise, for instance, they're using Visa Direct API. or the space like Apple Pay, Samsung, they're using one of our tokenization APIs. So that's the kind of examples I can give you of open APIs.
Okay, this is what you can count with Visa. But Paulo, we are here, like, we would like to have some insights and highlights. You are every day thinking about payments, so what can you highlight of what's the biggest opportunity in payments or a gap in the market that these startups could solve, and how can Visa help getting there?
So globally, there's a lot of challenges, and they vary differently from region to region, country to country. If you think about Portugal as an example, we can talk about other markets if you want, but for Portugal, for example, we still have a lot of challenges in terms of acceptance. So I'll give you a quick example. We all, in the day-to-day, we want simple, we want choice, we want to be able to make our payments in an easy way. What we see today is that those that visit us, and some of you that are working here, you probably felt that already, those that visit us and those that actually come to Portugal, sometimes they struggle to make payments unless they have cash. So it is still a movement, and the infrastructure is still adapting. So if you can provide solutions that are easy to plug and play with merchants, with businesses, to provide those consumers and visitors solutions which are quickly allow them to make a better payment. So that's one of the opportunities. I would say another one is control. If you think about the crisis and how it affected the Portuguese market in 2012 and 2014, what we see is that consumers want control of their finances and day-to-day payments. So a lot of them went back to cash. I know it doesn't make much sense, but some of them actually stopped using electronic payment forms and they went to cash because of lack of control. They felt that if they pay in cash, they have control. So it's giving them back the control over their expenses. So those are two areas. As an example, there's so many we can discuss here.
Good hints for the startups. We saw some of them that help saving. And
exactly. So there's a number of things, and hybrid construction as well. There's a lot of opportunity for hybrid construction.
Now, one last question. These were really interesting points, and it was kind of a top-down approach. So my question now is specifically for the house. Like, how is Visa counting to or expecting to help the community specifically in the house? What's the strategy, Paula?
So, so this is the first year we're partnering. This is the first time Fintech House is opening. So we want to hope to work with you and help on as a daily partner. So count on us for. We can do one-to-one meetings with our experts. So we have a central team of innovation and fintechs, but we also have local expertise that can help you guiding through whatever doubts you might have about our set and our platform, for instance. Discuss about trends, what's happening, where we think the market is going. We're happy to discuss that with you. So bigger challenges is another possibility. So you can ask for us, for our experts, to challenge you on your business models or where you think you're going the right way. And that can be done. We do that everywhere. We use this as a consultants and experts in terms of testing your business models. And give you some advice also as a mentor almost, I would say that's, yeah. And the other one, which is the last one, that's probably not least important, is access to what we call network of networks. Because the fact that we are a global player also gives you access to other clients in other markets, other partners that can complement your solutions. So you can use this as a network to accelerate, let's put it this way, your reach in globally outside.
Very well. So basically, Paula, thanks a lot. Like it was very interesting to see, and we expect like in some years from now having an exit like planned out of Portugal. So having a company being exited for.
I would be very happy to support this.
No, and you are already partnering.
Sort of initiative.
You are already partnering with local fintech, so I think it will be great. Let's jump to Accenture now. Luís Pedro. Quick question for you. If you have read the Portugal FinTech report, and I think there's a couple of copies around, 80% of the fintechs in Portugal are B2B, so business to business. They are selling to incumbents or mature players, banks, insurers. So my question is, Accenture is a global reference in technology, consulting. My question to you is why you guys are in the perfect positioning to be a good support to fintechs.
Right. I read that part of the report, so I was to tackle that. Well, let me tell you just before that we need to be here in the house because we believe that innovation is about people to meet and to get together and to discuss ideas. And this is not a paradox once we are in a digital age, but people still need to get together and to be in the same place and the same location. So that's why we are very committed to be here. And we just heard that Visa is making 50 years. We are this precise year making 30 years in Portugal. So it's also a history that makes us proud. And we will stay for sure for at least more 30. But
we are 3 years old, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
We are kind of in the middle. I guess we are right in the middle, in the intersection between startups and the, let's say, the incumbents. And I guess that is our role. It's to try to industrialize the innovation. I think, and with a couple of and some of the fintechs that we've just met, we have already some MOU signed. We are making the complementary of skills between ourselves and the specific sets of innovation and products that most of these startups are bringing. And I think that we are being able to include that in our range of services. So we are helping those startups to grow, and at the same time, we are bringing innovation to our customers already in the market. And I think, again, and that this is very important, because once being a global company, we are investing a lot in Portugal, and I think we are pretty aligned with you, and also that is one of the reasons that we are here, because we have the same purpose. We want to go from Portugal to Europe, because we think that we have a landscape to grow, and that should not be just restricted to our domestic borders.
So perfect. Luís Pedro, I understand that, so basically a vision of getting startups, Portuguese international, sitting in Portugal, working with you in use cases, also in the integration, because the majority of these startups, they are product-based, and going to the world, so selling around the world. So it's a kind of a cycle, right? And my second question is regarding technology, like, and highlighting the technologies that Accenture really likes and works with. So what can you tell us, and some insights for the startups, what they should be betting in terms of technology? And incumbents also.
It's very interesting, because I'm quite recent on this responsibility, but banking nowadays, I've just heard always that COBOL was the major technology, and we think that this... No, but that's very interesting, because never as today we have the more diversified range of technologies living today within the financial industry. So it's very difficult to say it is this or that would build that technology, although I think that we can all understand understanding the trends of the finance industry, that of course everything connected and related with data will play a major role. Even, we talk a lot, and ourselves we are developing a center of artificial intelligence, but very recently, if we heard the stories about blockchain, we can understand how we can start having massive value chains across different industries, where you can trace every single transaction, secure, and in a more wide range that we know nowadays the industries as their current borders. So definitely everything related with data, artificial intelligence, and blockchain, I think it will be it will play a major role on the industry.
Perfect. Luís Pedro, one question.
Yeah.
You, Accenture, it's part of the house now. You get...
Accenture in the house.
So Accenture actually get physical offices here. So teams from Accenture will live at the house. Beautiful office full of paintings from the 18th century. And basically, my question is, what's the strategy for the house? What could the community expect specifically from Accenture in the house? So in these day-to-day operations.
Well, as I was saying, we've already started this by having, for instance, meetings in our own premises. But now it will get much more easy, because we will all be living here. So, and this is not just a matter to know the fintechs or the insurtechs here. We will all bring our customers to meetings and to meet people here as well. So I think this will be the house, this will be the center of the ecosystem as we are building it in that sense. And I guess the challenge for all of us is to make this grow and to make this premise is very innovative and with lots of energy that I believe we will all bring it.
Perfect, thanks a lot. Let's jump to Morais Leitão now. And Felipe, so we saw a couple of regulators around, CMVM, ICF, Banco de Portugal. We had representation from all of them. Actually, we were partners at the FinLab in the first edition. Now they just closed the second edition, I think very, very interestingly, and Portugal is playing an important role on that. But for the fintechs in the financial sector, they must be regulated. And actually the motto and the slogan of the FinLab was regulated by design. And my question is for Morais Leitão, it's a little bit, how do you see these innovators, rather if they are startups or even like banks, insurers that are cooperating with these startups, how can you...
I see helping on the AML. Also, we saw a couple of insurance.
Everything's an opportunity. Oh, you have compliance and regulation. Wait a second, what can we do with that?
No. It's interesting because we are really slicing the value chain of finance. That's pretty interesting, this unbundling of the financial sector. So my question, I give a couple of examples of things that startups are doing and leveraging regulation compliance, but my question for you, it's a little bit more educational now. It's what's the most common request you see from fintechs, and also what's the most common error? So.
Well, I think it's very linked to what I said before. So basically, somebody will walk in the door of their fintech and say, how can I do this without being subject to any regulation? And I think our job is to say, well, that's probably not even for you and not for your customers and not for your clients generally. That's obviously not a good thing. What we have to make sure is that you comply, as I said, with the right level of regulation. And also, as I started by saying, part of our job is, of course, because technologies are new, because services are new and are less well known, also a bit of an educational purpose, particularly with the regulators, to make them understand how these things work and how they are safe and how the idea is not to bring down the financial system in one big crash. Or to make lots of little old ladies lose their life savings, and to get them comfortable that that this technology works, is safe, and with the right level of regulation is good for everyone.
Perfect. Last question. In the house, what will be your practical presence? I know that you will bring a little bit of knowledge into the house. So, how is it structured?
Well. As was mentioned just now, and I think is very true, nothing, in this digital age, nothing replaces the face-to-face meeting. And I'm sure all of you, or everybody who has lawyers in the family, know that they're the person you turn to, over the dinner table when you have a problem with your rental contract, or or your boss, or you've got a speeding ticket.
Even if you never were doing that.
Even if, well, no, exactly. So lawyers are supposed to know a lot about it.
But lawyers answer, right?
We're at least try and pretend we know a lot about everything. That's our job. And so I think we will be here present at the FinTech House. And our idea is not only to bring, should we say, the expertise we have, decades, of course, with incumbents in the financial sector, and more recently, through Team Genesis with the startup sector and with fintech specifically. We bring to the table not only that experience, but I think, I wouldn't say equally important, but also as important. The place where you can knock on the door or meet by the coffee machine and ask all the other kind of questions that, all this fintech is all beautiful, etc., and the regulatory issue is very complex, etc. But then they all have the same problems that all other companies have. They have the tax issues, they have the labour law issues, they have the day-to-day corporate issues. And that's something which, as I said, perhaps the person specifically will know all the answers. I'm sure she or he will pretend to, because that's what we do. But
to get a multidisciplinary team, right? So
No,
you
of
understand the
course.
problems within your past two
That's not specifically labour law all the time, but anyway. But certainly we'll have people that can help in all these fronts, and you know, the same way that, as I said, across the dinner table, you ask your cousin who's a lawyer your question, you will be able to ask the same kind of questions to whoever's here over the coffee machine.
And we got a big table there, so feel free to use it and ask Morais Leitão for help. Perfect. Now let's jump into BBVA. Luís, welcome to the house. And BBVA is a global bank, right? You are everywhere with billions of euros investing in the digital transformation and creating ways to support fintechs, specifically many initiatives regarding structuring the way how to work with fintechs. So my point is, what can you tell us about this positioning of BBVA as a global bank and as a local bank?
I'm going to start with the public information, and then for something that is not public.
It's being filmed and broadcast.
We've learned a lot over these past years, and there are things that were not public, but we are starting to put them and to bring them to the public. What's public? We have been, for the third consecutive year, considered the best app in the world in Spain. We have been considered one of the 100 companies that were pioneers in digital transformation. There was only one bank in these 100 pioneers, and that bank was BBVA. We have been investing in several fintechs. Looking at here, my grey hair, my memory is not the same. So we have been bought stakes in Simple in the US, Madiva in Spain, Spring Studio in the US, Afton Bank in the UK, Holvi in Finland, OpenPay in Mexico, Solaris Bank in Germany, Privacy Cloud in Spain, Charge After in Israel, and DataSign in the UK. Those are fintechs that we are the leading shareholder or a fully owned banks. This is public, okay? And as you said, we've spent several billions of euros on this. What is also public is the reason for all this achievement, if you want, is because we started discussing digital transformation in IT. And we start to invest the first 1.5 billion just in the year 2000 in digital transformation. So this was 20 years ago. The first acquisition we made of a fintech, and now I'm going to the non-public things. The first acquisition was Simple in the US in 2014. So what happened in BBVA between 1999 and 2014? We've lost and thrown out of the window tens and hundreds of millions of euros of dollars by doing mistakes, by doing the wrong things in this digital transformation. That's when we decided we need the help of the fintechs. We are very good in certain products, we are extremely good in certain services, or we can be extremely good speaking with certain client segments, that we are good, regular, or bad, or we were good, regular, or bad in a lot of things we were doing to our clients and with our clients. That's where fintechs start to step into the BBVA community. And since then, we are being more and more connected with the fintech system.
Can I ask you something on top of that?
Yeah.
Because you've created like particular initiatives for that. Imagine the Open Innovation Tech Talent or FinTech Talent, the Open Markets. It's also you got investments in venture capital funds to invest in startups. So what can you highlight, and what's the best way for a startup to knock at the door of BBVA and start cooperating with this giant bank and international bank? Because as you know, all these fintechs, since day one, they are thinking of scaling internationally.
Exactly. Okay, first, there are several channels in the loop where we interact with fintechs. The open marketplace is the leading one. We have an open marketplace since the beginning of last year in Portugal. Started in Spain, US, Mexico, and then is starting to spread across the 30 countries where BBVA is present, has a presence. Portugal was initiating its open marketplace last year. In the open marketplace, what we do is detect opportunities not only for BBVA, but for BBVA clients. In the open marketplace, we have currently 2,000 fintechs talking to BBVA, to corporates, and to institutions. And we are bringing solutions not only to BBVA, but to our clients. When we have a meeting with a corporation or an institution, and we detect a need that we saw the solution with a fintech inside that open marketplace, we put the two together. And then we have the open innovation. Open innovation is the highlight of the open marketplace. Is where fintechs go, it's a site where fintechs and clients go, they interact together, and the best fintech in the open innovation, we invest in that in fintech. And you were talking about venture capitalism. That's something we learned as well. We started to invest directly, the bank directly investing in fintechs. We realized we were not helping fintechs because the speed of a bank, we only have 2 gears, one the first and the second, and fintechs, they have 6 gears. So we started to use venture capitalists, so we are shareholders of venture capitalism funds, that they invest in the fintechs with our money. And that's they are the ones who help to speed up things with fintechs. Perfect. Something we learn as well. Banks track fintech's evolution if we decide to control them.
Okay, so startups, instead of asking for a proof of concept with the BBVA, you know that this is a much structured way of speaking with them or begging for a meeting. No, that's pretty easier because they've structured.
I realize we are talking already with some of the fintechs.
But there's, Luis, my last question for you. There's something special here, which is, okay, you got the marketplace, you got the technology, but you also invested in the fintech house to have a personal touch. So we're going to have Andrea in the house. So my question is for the house specifically, and actually, by the way, they have a really, really nice office in the 4th floor. All of you are invited, right? To go. Very nice decoration now, so go there because it's very interesting. So my question for the housing specifically, what is BBVA doing? And the second question is, could you share also a little bit what you expect to receive from the fintechs? Because that's a good hint for them to knock at your door and try to offer what you need.
Let's try to answer on a reverse situation. What do banks need from fintechs? Not what fintechs need. What do banks need? Look into the roadmap of most banks going from 2020 to 2025. It seems that their strategy is to throw a lipstick on a pig and hope for the best. The pig being their core banking system and the way the people in the bank interact with each other and interact with the stakeholders. The lipstick is the fintech. So what is a missed opportunity to the banks? It's a business opportunity to fintechs. You are going to be the lipstick of most banks. That's not our roadmap. Our roadmap is becoming to be very similar to the roadmap of a fintech. We move faster. we are totally in disruption in the bank. Just to give you an idea, I'm the least important. When I presented myself, I said I am the CEO of the bank. Immediately the reaction to be, okay, this is the most important guy. I'm not. That was the first disruption in the bank. I'm the least important person in the bank now. Our hierarchic pyramid has been reversed. This is in Portugal, it's not a group. This is in Portugal. So our speed is becoming more and more similar to that of a big bank. And so our aim is to learn a lot as the group, as we all learned in the past, that we have more to get from fintechs than to give. So that's the first thing we want to get from fintechs. We are already having attendance in our floor, which is EasyPay. We started to work with them on open banking. As I said, we don't have the best solutions in the market, fintechs too, so we made a partnership with EasyPay to present payment solutions to our clients. And we will be here to detect opportunities for the group. As I mentioned before, we saw a lot of acquisitions. None of them was done in Portugal. And we want to put Portugal in there.
What's the next step?
So that's the first reason why we are here. We are here to put Portugal in the map, in the fintech world, and in the fintech community inside BBVA.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. So finally, last but not the least, João from Fidelidade. Actually, it's very good to have you here because you are every day touching these digital topics. So you are hands-on in all these subjects. And Fidelidade is a market leader in life, non-life. But very interestingly, it's also the player that's investing more in digital transformation, specifically in InsurTech in Portugal. So my point, could you tell us a little bit what you've learned so far with all these initiatives, and also how you are leveraging the startups, the InsurTechs, and also not just InsurTechs, right? You look also for other type of startups.
Yeah, so basically when you're the market leader in Portugal, you're developing the market share for the second one. When you have 200 years of history, the best distribution chain in the country, there is a moment that you try to understand where you're going to grow. And to grow comes from several ways. First is consumerization, and we are conquering all the ways to grow. Secondly, doing better what we're doing, so being more efficient, and thirdly, finding new value propositions to our clients. And this has been a journey for already some time now, where we started integrating, creating web platforms, mobile platforms, creating new disruptive products. At the same time, we have launched our own accelerator program, so we have acceleration program, so we have Protecting, which is going already in the 4th edition, trying to bring InsurTechs and startups, which are partnering also in fintech and health tech. It's bringing a huge set of innovation to Fidelidade. As well, we're starting to work in a lab mindset, meaning that we are working together with several areas, from IT, procurement, marketing, business areas, to drive this innovation. The first thing that we try to learn is that we have to do a cultural shift. So basically, when you have someone working with innovation and someone with a traditional mindset, something funny happens, which is the guy from innovation has a solution, he then finds problems to launch a solution. So you're going to find a partner to solve these problems. Then you have the traditional guy who sees a solution, is going to try to find problems to understand if that's good or not. And you have a moment that you have in the same room, two guys putting problems on top of the table and trying to reason everything. That kind of mindset had to change. So the way that we work with companies is to bring those kind of solutions into a new mindset and driving them not in the traditional way that we're doing, but in a new way. And that led to two new threads of development. New core capabilities that we are developing, so we are working with computer vision, for example, to automate claims. We are working with telematics for new solutions with, for driving and helping our clients on driving. We're also launching new value propositions. We are launching an Uber for services at home. We are launching a new solution for travel, where we also provide travel insurance, but the core solution is not self-insurance, to help you planning your travel. This means that we are moving from an ecosystem perspective, into new value propositions beyond just the insurance. Driving this disruption mindset, the first thing also that we notice is that it's impossible to do it by ourselves. So we are looking to work with all kind of partners, incumbents or startups, basically for two things. First, to be inspired, and one of the things that we're looking for in anticipating our question is that to be inspired. And secondly, to speed up the development. And that is really important for us. It's to not only to get new inspiration and new ideas, but also to get a faster way to deliver that.
Joe, just to stop you a little bit there, like any specific initiative that you highlight that you believe it's a way of turning around that problem, of moving the culture forward, like something you would like to highlight from Fidelidade? Because you said it's 200 years history, so it's lots of very good things, but also lots of things to move, right?
So to give you one example, one is the Uber for services. It's called Fintech. It's still I would say a pilot name, but it's not even an insurance product. We are not selling it as an insurance that have any. It's not covering risks, but it's enlarging our presence within the whole ecosystem. So we want to create a different level of relevance. We were talking about insurance and that we don't love insurance, but that's the truth, right? You have the customer here, and for all his interests, the insurance is in a peripheral area. What we want to do is to occupy within those ecosystems, within those propositions, to close the gap between the person and
No, that's really interesting, because you mentioned ecosystem. You mentioned that you want to be inspired by the fintech. So my last question is about not just what you could give to the fintech community, what they can expect from you, but also more things that you are looking from them, so that they could knock at your door, since you are part of.
Not disregard it. It's really a good idea, we will follow it. And size, we have resources. So in that sense, it's a very strong lever to work with startups. I think that the way that we want to work with them is first be inspired, and we want to see how can we be inspired in new ideas and having these new solutions that were quickly tested and deployed, and that we can take advantage from there. Also, how can we integrate further, not just only in the insurance part, but on all other areas that can improve the experience for our client within our ecosystems. That was something that we would like to do. Also, because we have our acceleration program, the more broader we can enlarge our scope and reach, the best for us.
Perfect. No, that's pretty interesting, because definitely, as we mentioned before, many of these startups, they are trying to do MGAs. They are trying to they will not carry the risk. So in the end, they need a player like you to offer a very good user experience. Lovis was saying we want someone to love we want to be the insurance you love, but in the end, the insurance is carried by other guys like you. So they are just doing the front end of that and all the experience around. And I think many of these insurtechs also want to do that. So welcome to the house. So to finalize, I will ask, and sorry, it's a little bit academic, but kind of a summary in the end. So João, in 30 seconds, what you'd like all this crowd remember forever from what you just said.
So instead of thinking about Fidelidade as 200 years of history, remember instead of 200 years of future and innovation. So everything which is ambition and new good ideas, we are willing to take the risk, because we're also insurance. So we are willing to take the risk, experiment and try, as long as it's a good idea.
Perfect. Luís Pedro, 30 seconds.
First, as I said, Accenture is in the house. I want you to bear that in mind, first of all. The second is, as I told you, we are right in the intersection of providing a structured innovation to our clients and to help the startups to grow and to scale faster.
Well, what could you remember from this? In BBVA Portugal, we have two missions that are the pillars of our strategy. First mission, teach Portuguese how to save money. Second mission, make the Portuguese companies or companies that operate in Portugal much bigger. So that's what we are doing here. Making these fintechs or startups bigger so that their owners and shareholders get richer and open an account in BBVA so we can teach them how to save money. So that's our...
It's not my best.
Well, just in your 30 seconds, I think certainly the way we try and work is very much solution driven and to be more of a partner to your companies than technically as lawyers. We don't like to complicate things, but at the same, on the other side of the coin, we also don't, and here apologies, it's a translation more from the Portuguese, we also don't facilitate. If we think this isn't good for you, then we will tell you that you shouldn't be doing this. Because long term, your growth, success, and development means our success as well.
So we believe that payment, innovation, and choice are catalysts for the digital economy. Having said that, I think that Visa is absolutely relentless in the pursuit of meaningful innovation that can increase actually the more efficient flow of money through the economy. So that's absolutely essential for us as a vision. Having said that as well, I would like to say that look at Visa as a tech enabler. Leveraging our network of networks approach, the capacity that we have to connect consumers, businesses, big techs, fintechs, incumbents. So think of us as the connective tissue of the economy and use us as to leverage and to expand your reach of your solutions.
Fantastic. Actually, thanks a lot because you are kind of the other brothers in the house. So it's great to have a full house and with such good partners to help the fintechs grow. So help me with a round of applause. Thank you very much.